I'm Austin Wilson, Co-Portfolio Manager at Hixon Zuercher Capital Management.
And I'm Chase Rose, Associate Wealth Advisor here at Hixon Zuercher Capital Management. We are here today to give you a market and economic update for the month of February, now looking forward to March.
All right, so let's start with the markets.
As always.
The markets, 4-month win streak. That's pretty good.
Big time.
That's pretty good. S&P 500 up about 4.9%, Dow up about 2%, NASDAQ up about 5.7%, leading the way again. Small caps up 5.4%. Developed international stocks up 2.5%. Emerging market stocks up 4.4%. And bonds not up. Down 1.6%. Yields went up, bond prices went down. So overall, not a bad month. Continuing the rally that we've seen here at the beginning of 2024, which really started around the fourth quarter of 2023.
Sure thing. Speaking of rallies, so in early February, Meta, which is the parent company for Facebook,
True.
had an earnings report, as they do every quarter. And from this earnings report, they announced a lot of positive financial data, and they even announced a new dividend being paid in the stock now, which is cash money.
Make it rain, baby.
Right there. The stock rose 20% in a single day.
Yeah, it did.
And we'll get to this in a little bit, but as of that earnings report, it was $197 billion was added to the valuation of the company.
True.
Which was the largest value add in any single day in market history for any one company, which was big time.
It is.
And Mark Zuckerberg, the guy who founded the company 20 years ago in a dorm room, made about $28 billion in that day.
Not a bad day.
From the stock
All in a day's work.
All in a day's work. I actually had that written down right here. That is an honest day's work.
That's good.
Billion.
Not to be outdone, but a couple weeks after that, NVIDIA had an earnings report, and they had a fantastic report. Earnings and revenue beat, and their guidance was better than expected, and the expectations were really high already, and they just eclipsed them, as they've done repeatedly for a while now. So NVIDIA added $277 billion in one single day of market cap.
That's crazy.
It's now the third largest company in the United States, publicly traded, which is unbelievable. So net income, so that would be like profit. The firm profit was up 769% in the past year. It grew 769%, and it is 83 times higher than it was a decade ago. Isn't that unbelievable?
What does the rule of 72 say for that?
Yeah, that's
double.
A lot.
That is so crazy.
So NVIDIA, my slight outdoing of Facebook, even though both were exceptional quarters for some of America's biggest companies.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, now on to fast food.
Fast
food. So Wendy's is now implementing dynamic pricing into its restaurants. And it is actually the first fast food chain to do so. Remains to be seen if any other fast food chains will follow. But essentially what dynamic pricing is they're implementing new digital menus for their drive-thru and in stores. And the prices will fluctuate throughout the day based on their busier times. Right? So it's essentially called surge pricing, something that companies like Uber already implement into their business model. So a lot of people are a little upset about it, but hey, they're just trying to make money.
It sounds like great for business.
Absolutely.
I think maybe you'll have people identifying the off-peak hours. Maybe like during peak lunch or dinner time, that burger's $9.99. But at like 2 in the afternoon, it's a $4 burger. Who knows? You could really find some deals.
I'm going to start changing my lifestyle.
People could alter their whole schedule for this.
Just around Wendy's.
Just for Wendy's. So Bitcoin has been a hot topic as of late. So not long after the SEC approved the spot Bitcoin ETFs, which we talked about last month, the cryptocurrency is now back over $60,000 per Bitcoin. And it is now within 10% of its all-time high, which was all the way back to November 2021. So Bitcoin's been on a tear, and it's been doing quite well. Still not back to all-time highs, but yeah, it's been doing quite well lately.
I saw something, it's now eclipsed 1 trillion market cap.
True.
Which it was in 2020.
It was at the peak as well, yes.
Sure. All right. I'm a consistent man.
You are.
I normally have a couple categories I like to stick to. So my third news story, Taylor Swift.
Oh, that's definite. That's one we got.
Stop there, not Taylor Swift. The Kansas City Chiefs won
Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team.
There you go. The Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl back in February. You really couldn't have scripted it any better. I know there's a lot of speculation.
Whether it was scripted?
Whether it was scripted or not, that remains to be seen. But I do have an interesting note from a dollar aspect about the Super Bowl. It's projected that 68 million Americans, which is 25% of the adult population, waged approximately $23 billion on the Super Bowl alone.
Okay.
And that seems like an astronomical number.
That is a lot of money.
It is the highest up to date bet on any single event. But analysts expect that almost every Super Bowl for the next 10 years will have another record-setting year because of just the vast growth that the betting market has had over the last few years. So
Americans love gambling.
Americans love gambling.
If you have gambling problems, please see the link here we'll insert on the video.
Yeah.
Good. So the Super Bowl is an employer of a lot of people. Mm-hmm. America's an employer of a lot of people.
They sure are. Yeah.
We keep adding jobs every single month. For the month of January, the country added over 300,000 jobs, which was above all the estimates. Like, it's anticipated that the country would have been net adding jobs, which is a typical good thing. We've been in that situation for a while, but added more jobs than any analyst estimated. What this did, and it relates directly to market performance earlier, is it pushed yields higher. Economic news was better than expected, which was what impacted bond prices to the negative. And this really pushes Fed interest rate cuts a little bit further down the road. So it was anticipated going into the year that some of those cuts would have started coming end of the first quarter, into the second quarter, and now those get pushed down the road, so we might not see Fed interest rate cuts for a little while longer yet.
Sure. You know where there are no jobs?
Where?
The moon.
The moon.
Yeah.
Maybe not yet.
I mean, you're right.
Okay.
That's a good point. Not yet. There are no jobs on the moon yet.
That's right.
But in February, on February 22nd to be precise, that was the first time that a U.S. spacecraft has landed on the moon since 1972, since the final Apollo 17 mission.
Allegedly. Some people don't believe it.
Allegedly, yeah. That was actually, it was all staged and scripted.
I do believe in the moon landing. I want to put that on record.
Disclaimer. So, NASA is focused on getting humans back on the moon eventually. But their funding is not where it was back during the Apollo mission, so they're relying on these private sector companies like Intuitive Machines, who own Odysseus that landed on the moon this past month. They're relying on companies like that to get them back to that point.
Yeah.
And I guess February was just one stage or one milestone in getting there.
You go on?
Not yet. I'm skeptical.
The use case seems so interesting to me.
me.
Some moon rocks and moon dust we can learn from. I don't know.
Sure,
We'll see about that.
Jinx.
All right. I know, I have to say the last one, though. Speaking of fast things.
Yeah.
Spaceships are fast.
Spaceships are very fast.
Sometimes cars are fast. Mm-hmm. Ford is a car company. In America, they are rolling out a partnership with Tesla so that Ford electric vehicles can be used on Tesla superchargers to current owners of electric vehicles in the US and Canada. So, current Ford electric vehicle owners can reserve their free charging adapter because they have a different charging port, but they need an adapter to use the Tesla supercharger, which they're going to be transitioning to the Tesla one eventually. But current Ford electric vehicle owners can reserve their free adapter between now and June 30th. After then, that adapter will cost $230, but you'll still have access to the Tesla supercharging system and network, which is a very fast way to charge your electric vehicle compared to plugging it in at home with a normal wall adapter. It would take a long time, where you can charge it in 30 minutes probably on a supercharger.
Sure, yeah. All right. Now, speaking of consistency that I mentioned earlier, I have a number of stories I try to stick to every month, and my last one being the Florida News Story of the Month.
Florida News Story of the Month, my favorite segment.
It's becoming a staple. So, in the month of February, the Florida Man Games were
I can only imagine what they do there.
I have a couple. I have examples for you. The Florida Man Games was hosted in St. Augustine, Florida, the last weekend in February. A few of my favorite events.
Okay, bring it.
There was sumo wrestling while holding a pitcher of beer. So essentially, you want to wrestle someone and win, but you also don't want to spill your beer.
Hey, you get penalized, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Every ounce down.
Exactly. Yeah. There was an event where you got to run from an actual sheriff through an obstacle course. And my last favorite one was the cash grab in hurricane type winds.
Oh, wow. The Florida Man game.
The Florida Man
Are we
games.
going next year?
We are.
We're going next
absolutely
year.
going
Let's
next
do
year.
it.
And we're actually going to do this video from the Florida Man games
From the live
next year.
We're going to have to talk to our marketing budget about
We
that. All right. Well, thank you for listening. As we said, Austin Chase here with Hixon Zuercher Capital Management. Please remember, nothing we talked about is a recommendation, but if you have any questions about your financial situation, feel free to give us a call at 419-425-2400 or email us at hello@hzcapital.com. And until next month, have a great week and stay warm.
See ya.